Welcome. This is Bob Dust, your instructor for the ASP.NET class. Today's lesson is an introduction to usability, part 1 of 2 parts. If you've taken web design classes previously, you have probably covered most of this. I think this is an important topic for us to begin learning how to build websites using MVC. First, to start with a little humor here. Since a user interface is like a joke, if you have to explain it, it's not that good. A lot of truth in that statement, and the next few slides we'll see what that's all about. A few years ago, I was taking a MS and IS course at VCU, and one of the books the professor had us read, which I loved a lot, was this book by Steve Krug called Don't Make Me Think. Excellent book. It's short, it's well written, it makes a lot of sense, and a lot of what today's lesson is based upon some of the ideas that Steve has in his book. I highly recommend it. You find this on Amazon.com and many other places. It's well regarded in the industry, and I think you'll like it. All right, before we can start, we need to understand what usability even means. Obviously, does it do something that people need to have done? If it's not, the rest of it doesn't really matter, does it? Is it something the user can learn quickly? Can they figure out how to use this thing? Because they won't have us standing behind their shoulder telling them, no, click here, no, not there, over here. So it has to be learnable. And it should also be memorable. Once they learn it, they should not have to relearn it continuously. That would be a poor design if they had to. And obviously, is it effective? Does this website, does it get the job done? So it must be effective. At the same time, it must be efficient. Does it do what it's supposed to do with a reasonable amount of time and effort? We also want to be desirable. Do people want to use this website? Do they come here because it's easy to use, they know how to navigate, they know what things are, they know how to find things, or they dread it because it's such a pain? And of course, it'd be nice if it was delightful. Do they enjoy using it? It's even fun to use. Okay, so the most important thing is in usability is, as the author of the book says, don't make me think. In other words, people go to your website, they're not going there for the intellectual challenge of it. They're going there because they want to get something done. So they should be able to go to your website, look at it, and say, oh, this website is for something or something else. So it should be obvious to them. They don't want to have to try to guess what it is you're trying to do. They should also be able to say, okay, there's the navigation, and there's the specials, and here's how I check out, and here's how I add to my cart. Everything should be obvious from the beginning. What we don't want them to be doing is thinking. We don't want them to think, where do I start? Why do they call it that? That doesn't make sense. Is that even clickable? I can't tell. Let me click and see. No, nothing happened. Well, where do I click? How do I navigate? I want to get to this page or that page. How do I do that? It's not clear. Another one is, why are there two links that look like they do the same thing? I'm kind of afraid to click either one because what if I'm wrong? So we put doubt in their mind. So our job when we design these web pages is to get rid of these question marks. If you go to a website that says, we got employment opportunities, we got Joborama, or we got jobs, which one is most obvious? To me, it would be the jobs one. It would be that one there. Maybe that one. This one, I don't think so. All right. Go to another web page and you got three options or three statements here. One says report, another says report, and a third says report. Which one do I use? In my mind, this looks like a button. I would think I would click that. The next one, I don't know. Is that even clickable? I can't tell. The last one, does this even do anything? So to a user, having something that looks like it's clickable and does something will make it look like a button. This is fairly obvious that it's clickable. Okay, so if we do the other two, we're making the user think, and that's what we don't want to do. We want it to be obvious to them. So an honorable and noble goal is to make everything self-evident. If you can't, then make it self-explanatory. Now we know every pixel on every page on our website because we live and breathe it. We are one with it. We have bonded with it. We know it inside out. We love it, and we know others will as well. But in reality, at best, people are going to glance at your page. They may scan it for looking for certain text. They're not going to read everything, especially if it's overwordy. And the first time they see something they think is a plausible link, they're going to click it. All right? So when we build a website, we're thinking, oh, this is a product brochure. We're going to put everything we can on here because we want people to know all about our products. The user, they come to your website for the first time, they're thinking, hey, I'm heading down the highway at 60 miles an hour, and I see your website as a billboard. Bam, it's gone. So let's look at some studies have been done on rational decision making. And they find out that people don't always make rational decisions. They don't make optimal choices. What people do is they make the first choice that should work. People are in a hurry. If they click on something, what happens if it goes wrong? Weighing the options does not improve our chances. So think about it this way. People in a hurry, think about a movie, Star Trek or something. Captain Kirk, he's under fire, has to make a decision quickly. He doesn't sit there and analyze every possible outcome. He doesn't do a spreadsheet. He doesn't put everything, all the facts on the table and sort them out and decide what's the best thing to do. He's looking at the first choice that should work. That's what people do. Again, when people do studies and rational decision making, most people do this. They're going to take the first choice that should work, and people on your website are going to do the same thing. You probably do this when you're driving down the road. You have to make a quick maneuver because something odd happened on the road. Someone pulled out or stopped. And you go, oh, do I turn left or turn right or brake or what do I do? And you do the first thing that looks like it should work. It's just a common human trait. And when they come to your website, they're going to do the same thing. All right. Our users are not interested in figuring things out. So we muddle. I mean, who the heck reads instructions? You ever see directions and think, wow, I would have never figured that out myself. I wouldn't have looked there for that. I mean, I do it all the time, like, wow, that's not what I was expecting it. All right? When something works, we tend to stick to it. You ever use Word and you want to do a header? Or you do a heading 1 font? You probably go to the menu and you click here and click there. Well, maybe the quickest way to do that is to click Control F1. People don't know that. They learn to use it with using the mouse and clicking on menu options, where there's maybe a much faster way to do that with the keyboard. Same thing with Visual Studio. I'm surprised at how many people don't know about Control Tab. You want to go from one file to another, Control Tab gets you there quickly. Instead, people click all over the screen to try to get there, because that's how they learn to do it. Again, once it works, we stick to it. So we don't always learn the best way of doing things. All right, so people are going to look at our website as a billboard driving down the highway. How about we design great billboards? So we take advantage of using conventions. People expect to find things in certain areas. It's in our best interest, in general, to put things where people expect to find them. All right, how do we do that? We create visual hierarchies. We group things from high importance to low importance, so they can see it, our user can see it quickly. We format content. Remember, they're going to be scanning and looking for text. We format our content to support that. We make the clickables obvious. Don't hide them. Don't make users think, is this clickable or not? Make them obvious. All right, we also want to eliminate distractions. Don't throw things out there with animated GIFs and other stuff unless they truly play or serve a purpose. And of course, like I said earlier, people are scanning for things. They're looking for keywords. Support it. Understand it. All right? Think about driving down the street and you see street signs. Isn't it nice for the street signs are like above the road where you expect to see them? If you turn around Richmond at all, you know they're hard to find. They're hidden behind trees and other things, and they put them where you can't see them. That drives me nuts. Anyway, so make street signs obvious. Automobiles. Whether you drive an old clunker or a luxury automobile, a lot of things are done the same way. Doors open, the steering wheels work the same way. Shifting gears works the same way. Heaters, not so much, and air conditioning, not so much. But windshield wipers, a lot of things, they work according to conventions. People expect them to work that way. Don't fight it. The same thing should be said for web pages. Don't make people think. Remember, let things be where they expect them to be. All right. I've worked with web designers in the past, and they all want to be creative. It's in their DNA. It's also a curse. They want to do things their way, and you have to rein them in a lot of times and say, no, I love your ideas, I like what you're saying, but my users are not going to understand that. All right, talk a little bit about visual hierarchies. There's 3 traits. Put the most important things on the more prominent. Use your H1, H2, H3, H4 tags. That's what they're there for. Make the most important things H1, next most H2, further down the line H3, H4, and H5. Things related logically should be related visually. Put things together that belong together. Put new products in one area. Put specials in another area. Group them logically. Mythologically related, group them visually. Nest things visually to show what's part of what. Amazon does a good job of this. They start at high levels from whatever it is you're looking for, books or movies, down to the genre to see what it is you want. So nest things visually. All right. A lot of pages have noise on them. Our author says, this is a quote, "A great enemy of easy to grasp pages is visual noise." You ever see web pages that shout at you all over the page? It's overwhelming where everything is shouting for attention. Not just big, bold print, but spatials, bright colors, animated GIFs, pop-ups. It's like, does it ever end? A lot of pages you see are disorganized. I try to hyphenate disorganization. I don't know if I did a good job or not. Anyway, disorganization. You got things thrown everywhere. Things look out of alignment. Usually you see it's a big yap. Sometimes we clutter up pages too much. Got too much stuff on there. It's hard for the user to find and focus on what the message is. So the bottom line is, lots of noise equal not much information. All right, let's talk about users making choices. You ever go to the post office? I noticed recently it's not the case anymore. But you used to go to the post office, and they have 2 or 3 mailboxes there, and one says metered or stamped, or priority even sometimes, and I got a business reply envelope. What is it? I mean, is it metered? Is it stamped? Is it what? I don't know. You're making me decide, and you're making me try to guess what they are thinking. You know? What if I choose wrong? What if I put my letter in the wrong mailbox here? Is it not going to get delivered? It's going to get lost? Is it going to be sent to Alaska? Nothing wrong with Alaska, of course, but we want to go where it's designed to go. Okay? Again, don't make the user try to guess what we're thinking. Here's another example from the book. You got 2 buttons on the screen, one for home, one for office. I run a home business. I got a spare bedroom I'm running out of my home, using it in my home to run my business. And you consider that my home, you consider that my office. You're confusing me, I don't know which one. What if I click the wrong choice? What if I click it and go, oh my Lord, I'm 5 clicks into this thing and I made the wrong choice back in the home page. All right, we're adding anxiety to the user. All right, here's an example. I work for a company that sells decorated cakes. Actually, U-Crops. So, U-Crops used to have a website where after you chose a cake, it had pickup options, and one was they had every hour listed from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. as a pickup time. So it had 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. And you usually had to choose one. Of course, obviously this confused the users. Talking to one user, and she was saying, wow, I'm trying to plan my day out, and if I choose 8 o'clock, but I don't get there till 9 o'clock, are you going to, like, give up on me and sell my cake? Or I say 9 o'clock, and I get there at 8 o'clock, it won't be ready. I'm going to sit out in the parking lot and wait. It just confused the user, and for no purpose. So now, so when I came out, I said, well, why don't we have 3 options? Morning, noon, and evening. Trying to narrow it down to 3. Turns out this wasn't for the user benefit anyway. This is for our production team. So we're confusing the user just for our production team. Now, it just lists the store hours. For example, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We're just notifying the user that this is when you can pick up your cake. Helped a lot. It did not affect our production at all. It just worked out beautifully. So again, keep it simple. All right. So you can avoid giving a difficult choice. Follow these simple rules. Be brief. Give me the smallest amount of information that I need. Be timely. Place it so I encounter it exactly when I need it. And third, make it unavoidable. Format it in a way that ensures I'll notice it. Now, this is not example, not from a website, but if you've ever been to England, in particular London, and you walk around, as an American over there, I'm so used to looking to my left when I cross a road because I've been conditioned that's where traffic comes from. Nice people in England have figured out there's a lot of Americans like me over there, and they decided to put this on this street. As you approach a street, what's it tell me? Look right. In England, cars driving on the left side of the road, and the cars are coming from your right, even as Americans, we're conditioned to always look left when we cross the road. In England, that's going to get you killed. So, notice they're brief. All it says is look right. It's timely. It's at the intersection itself. It's not in the middle of the road. It's not in your hotel room. It's where you need it. And the last thing is it's pretty unavoidable. I'm walking right here, and oops, yeah, let me look right before I get run over. All right. Another book I read, this was in MBA school. One of my professors had us read the book, The Elements of Style by E.B. White. You probably are familiar with this. It's a great book, How to Write. Again, it's kind of like Don't Make Me Think. It's short, it's easily read, and it's well written. So, in the book, Elements of Style, rule number 17, omit needless words. The author says, vigorous writing is concise. A sentence should contain no unnecessary words. A paragraph, no unnecessary sentences, for the same reason that a machine should have no unnecessary parts. The author of the Don't Make Me Think book has a chapter called Omit Words, and he scratched out needless. So the art of not writing for the web, he says. Many of the words on the web page are just taking up space because no one is going to read them. Just by being there, all these extra words suggest that you may actually need to read them to understand what's going on. That makes pages more daunting than they actually are. Again, the author, Steve Krug, says, get rid of half the words on each page, then get rid of half of what's left. Now that's a little bit, I think, over dramatic, but he's trying to make his point. Back when I was project manager for projects, I would tell my team, the project's not done when there's nothing left to add. It's done when there's nothing left to remove. Keep things only what you need, and the rest is clutter, and it confuses the user. And back when I had my software company, adding things that were not necessary increased my support cost to my support staff. So we watch for those things. Same thing is true with websites. Omit needless words. So the benefits of being sparse are obvious. Reduces the noise level. Useful content is more prominent. And when users are glancing at a page, they can see more of the page at a glance without having to scroll. We cannot rely on them to scroll. All right, a lot of web pages have what I call happy talk on it. Happy talk is stuff that doesn't add to what the user is there for. So we say things like, hey, look at us, we're great. Readers just go blah, blah, blah. They don't hear it. They're not interested in it. So we want to not tell the user we're great. It's better just to explain what makes us great, and they'll figure out that we're great. Web users don't have time to listen to happy talk. They're there, they want you to get to the point, they want to see what it is you're doing, especially if you have a commercial site. They're not trying to go there to be entertained or anything else. They want to get their job done. Some pages have lots of instructions on them. Okay, do this, add this, click here, move over there, you're going to do these 10 things. And it doesn't get read. Nobody reads them. Okay, especially if they're overwordy. So what our goal is, when we design our web pages, make everything self-explanatory. All right, so this is the end of part 1. In part 2, we will cover navigation, using tabs, how to design a home page, typical web users, and usability testing. Again, if you've taken courses in web design in the past, you have probably been exposed to all this and much more. I can't emphasize enough that the book, Don't Make Me Think, is an excellent source, and I highly recommend it. So until next time, take care, and we'll see you then.